My 17-year-old daughter worked day and night to earn a full-ride, full-tuition grant. My sister and parents took it from her on purpose. "It's better for the family," they said. I didn't shout. I did this. 3 days later, the police were at their door. You'd think I'd recognize a disaster when it walked through my door in a plain white envelope, but nope. I thought it was the apartment assignment or a bus pass or some thrilling update about school access card activation. The kind of thing you leave for your kid to open because it's theirs and you're a cool, chill, totally not overinvested parent. I didn't even open it. I tossed it on the counter, smiled at Samantha Price, my daughter, full tuition grant winner, miracle in secondhand shop jeans, and said, "Mail came for you." She took one look and went quiet. Thin envelope. Thin, cheap, nothing fancy envelope. The kind that says, "Here's a boring form." Or, "Oops, you're uninsured." Samantha Price didn't say anything. She picked it up, walked down the corridor, and disappeared into her bedroom. I went back to stirring whatever dinner was. Pasta, maybe? I don't remember, because then she said it. "Mom!" Her voice cracked like a stick snapping in half. I turned the burner off and walked down the corridor. The door was open. She was sitting on the bed, hunched over, holding the letter like it might catch fire if she moved too fast. She handed it to me. Didn't speak, just handed it to me. I read it twice before it even registered. "We acknowledge your decision to decline the full tuition grant. Your award has been reassigned to the next eligible candidate." I laughed. Not a happy laugh. One of those single breath. What the hell kind of laughs that comes from your ribcage when your brain short-circuits? I looked at her. "You didn't decline anything, right?" Samantha Price shook her head. Her hands were clenched so tight I thought she might bruise her own palms. Her eyes were already wet. "No," she whispered. "Why would I do that?" She didn't need to convince me. Samantha Price had cried when the acceptance came in. She'd baked brownies for the admissions team even though they were 200 minutes away. She'd framed her acceptance email. Declined the full tuition grant. That would be like burning a winning lottery ticket. I grabbed my phone and called the number listed on the letter. Financial aid office. I wasn't even polite. The hold music was some kind of acoustic violin hell loop. Samantha Price sat next to me, shaking, not crying anymore, just stunned. A woman finally answered. "This is Megan. How can I help?" I went straight in. "We just got a letter saying my daughter declined her full tuition grant." "That's a mistake." She didn't. Pause. "May I have her school access card?" I gave it. She typed. I imagined the slow clack of betrayal. "We received a formal withdrawal email from her registered address last week. Megan said it's already been processed. The full tuition grant was reassigned." My throat dried up. "I'm sorry," I said. "What?" "It came from the address we have on file. The request was time-stamped last Monday, 7:47 p.m. Samantha Price looked at me. Her head tilted like she'd just been slapped. "I'm going to need you to read that address back to me," I said. Megan did. Samantha Price's face went white. "That's my email," she said. "But I didn't send anything." "I'm going to need a copy of that email," I said to Megan. "Can you send it to me? We can forward the message to the same address it came from." "Yes," she replied. "Of course." "Perfect." They were forwarding a fraudulent email to the exact account it had been sent from where the real owner never saw it. And then she added the kicker. Sometimes students change their minds. If she had second thoughts, we can't just undo it now, especially after it's been reassigned. She didn't withdraw. Megan didn't flinch. Or if she did, I didn't hear it. She just went on perky and professional. "If you believe there was an error, you're welcome to file a formal complaint. But once reassigned, it's rarely reversible." "Who got it?" I asked. "Who was the next candidate?" "I'm sorry, we can't disclose that." The hallway smelled of rain and old bleach, the lockers rattling as a door slammed shut. Samantha's fingers tightened around the faded paper in her hand. The acceptance letter. She could almost taste the sunshine of that day, hear her mother's laugh from a memory. That hope felt like a bruise now. Weeks ago, the principal's voice had been too kind on the phone. Her pulse had thudded in her ears. Something broke in her that day, but not enough to kill the hope. Not yet. The forwarded email finally arrived. I opened it. The withdrawal request was perfectly written. It even used her signature. But the timestamp. Monday, 7:47 p.m. My blood ran cold. I knew exactly where she was that night. Family dinner, at my sister's house. Samantha looked at me, her face pale. I was there. My laptop was right there on the couch. The pieces weren't forming a glitch. They were forming a person. My own sister, Vivian. Her son was waitlisted for the same grant. I didn't want to believe it. The sheer coldness of it. Typing those words as Samantha laughed in the next bedroom, hijacking her future with a few clicks. I grabbed my keys. My hand was shaking. Samantha stood up. "Where are you going?" "To get your future back." The drive across town was dead silent. The only sound was the pounding rain and the echo of that betrayal. Every stoplight felt like a lifetime. I pulled into their pristine driveway. The house looked so peaceful, so normal. I didn't knock, I just walked in. Vivian was at the kitchen island, smiling. "Hey, what a surprise." I held up my phone. The email glowed on the screen. Her smile didn't fade, it just froze. The air went out of the bedroom. "You didn't," I whispered. She looked from the phone to my face. Her expression shifted, from surprise to something else, something hard. "His future was at stake too," she said, her voice calm, empty. I couldn't even speak. "You have no proof it was me. It came from your IP address, Vivian, your network." For a single second, her mask slipped. Panic. Then it was gone. "He's my son," she stated, as if that explained everything, as if it justified crushing my daughter. I just turned and left. Words were useless. The truth was a bomb between us now, lying there on her clean kitchen floor. I got in the car. Samantha was waiting for my call. I just sat there, watching the rain slide down the windshield. What do you do when the enemy is your own family? So, instead, I did what moms do when they're losing control. I rewound the tape and tried to explain it to myself. I grew up 2 years ahead of my sister, which is just close enough to be compared at every possible stage of your life. Vivian was the golden one. Not obviously. Our parents weren't cartoon villains or anything, but there was always a second set of rules that followed her around. If I forgot to take out the trash, I was lazy. If she forgot, someone must have distracted her. If she cried, she was sensitive and needed comforting. If I cried, I was dramatic. And if we fought, well, don't use your little sister as an excuse. She's younger. You should know better. I learned early that protesting made things worse. So I stopped. Let her have the last cookie, the benefit of the doubt, the spotlight. Fine, whatever. I built my life outside the favoritism radius. We both grew up, had daughters at almost the same time, and, for a while, I let myself believe things were different. Samantha Price and Chloe were close, like genuinely close. Same school, same after-school programs, same goofy photos and matching pajamas. We raised them side by side, lived in the same town, shared babysitting recipes, holiday tables. Our parents doted on them both, or almost both. It was subtle, like everything else. Samantha Price got praised for her kindness. Chloe got praised for her spark. Samantha Price was responsible. Chloe was a natural leader. Samantha Price did the dishes after family dinner. Chloe made everyone laugh and forgot the dishes. And somehow that was just as valuable. And when Chloe messed up, when she got caught cheating on a vocab quiz or snapped at a teacher, it was stress, pressure, teenage hormones. When Samantha Price cried after a bad day, sensitive, needs to toughen up. Still, I brushed it off. They were kids, and the girls loved each other. Chloe came over for sleepovers. Samantha Price helped her with homework. They swapped books and inside jokes and shared Spotify playlists like a pair of nerdy twins. Samantha Price even helped Chloe with her full tuition grant essays because, yeah, both girls applied for the same full-ride program. It was a long shot, national, competitive. We all knew there were tens of thousands of applicants and maybe 50 spots, but they went for it together, side by side, cheering each other on. When the acceptance came through for Samantha Price, I screamed. Then I cried. Then I panicked a little because I realized she might actually be leaving, and I wasn't ready. But Samantha Price didn't do any of that. She just sat there quietly and said, neither did she. We just sat there in the quiet of that realization, watching the floor like it might offer a solution. I remembered watching them laugh together that night. I remembered Samantha Price doing Chloe's makeup, helping her pick out a dress, offering to take photos on the good phone so Chloe would have better lighting. Samantha Price let her borrow her clothes, let her borrow her confidence, let her borrow her trust and her phone. She didn't stab her in the back. She borrowed the knife. There's a kind of silence that comes after betrayal. Not the calm kind, the loaded kind. The kind where even your thoughts are whispering because they don't want to make it worse. That was our house the night Samantha Price remembered. She sat curled up on the couch, staring straight ahead like she was watching her whole life rerun through static. I sat across from her, holding the email, the one she supposedly sent. Sent from her phone. Sent while her cousin was borrowing it to call her boyfriend. The timestamp lined up, the tone lined up, the gut punch lined up. Only one thing didn't, the fact that Samantha Price never wrote it. She finally broke the silence. We'll never be able to prove it. Her voice cracked like it had given up too. She sent it from my phone. There's no chance. I looked at her, and maybe it was the deadness in her voice or the way her shoulders had collapsed into themselves, but something in me snapped. Then we find a way. I didn't tell Samantha Price I was going to see my sister Vivian. She didn't need to know. Not yet. I just said I had errands to run and grabbed the car keys like it was a normal Tuesday. Like I wasn't driving across town to look my sister in the eye and ask her if she'd help destroy my daughter's future. The entire drive, I rehearsed what I'd say. Calm, factual, no accusations. I'd ask questions. I'd give her the benefit of the doubt. And then she opened the door with a smile like nothing had happened, and every ounce of restraint I had fell into the driveway. "Hey," she said, "what's up?" I held up my phone. This. She stepped aside to let me in. I didn't sit, just stood there in her kitchen like a debt collector. This was sent from Samantha Price's email at 7:48 p.m. on the night of her graduation party. That's the same time Chloe borrowed her phone. Vivian glanced at the screen, smiled. "You're sure it wasn't just Samantha Price?" I stared at her. That's when I realized she wasn't confused. She was stalling. She helped your daughter with her essays. Let her borrow her clothes. Let her borrow her phone. And now her full tuition grant's gone. Vivian shrugged. Actually shrugged. When your daughter was helping mine, she wasn't really helping, was she? She knew they were competing before Chloe did. I blinked. Excuse me? She kept saying how guilty she felt. Chloe didn't get it. Why would she feel guilty if she hadn't done something wrong? I felt like I was watching her through a pane of glass, like I was in a dream where nothing made sense and the floor might fall through at any second. "What are you saying?" She leaned against the counter. "Nothing. Just saying. The winner is whoever says the last word." And that was it. That was the moment I knew. She'd known all along. I drove home, shaking. Not from rage, not from grief, from clarity. She hadn't just let it happen. She'd helped. And if Chloe was smart enough to send that email without getting caught, then Vivian was smart enough to cover for her. But even Vivian hadn't counted on one thing. I'm a mom, and we remember everything. The camera. It hit me while my hands. Our backyard security camera. Motion activated. Full audio. Chloe had stepped outside during the party. Said she needed a quiet place to call her boyfriend. She hadn't taken Samantha Price's phone far, just out to the patio, long enough to do what she needed. I pulled up the app, and there she was, Chloe, walking out the back door with a phone in her hand. 7:46 p.m. You couldn't see for certain that it was Samantha Price's phone, not on video, but you could tell one thing. Her mind drifted back to last August, the sound of her father's boots thudding down the hallway before sunrise. The kitchen smelled of burnt toast. Someone had left the radio on, a dull country song filling the silence. Her shaky hands found the email, her name in bold, a full tuition grant. That warm rush of pride, gone in a second. You only got it because your mother begged, he sneered. The sting of that injustice pressed behind her eyes. That ache, the sour taste of burned bread, it never really left her. She just sat there, frozen, hands in her lap. It won't matter, Mom. They'll just say I let her send it, or that I changed my mind. She was right. They would say that. So I said nothing. I just turned to the table and opened my laptop. What are you doing? I'm filing a complaint with the university. She stared at me. And after that, I'm filing a police report. Impersonation, fraud, educational sabotage. Call it whatever you want. It was theft. They didn't steal a wallet. They stole her future. I uploaded the footage, attached the screenshots, submitted the timeline. Then I picked up the phone. I called the non-emergency line for our local police department. I'd like to report impersonation and digital fraud. My voice was steady, calm. Who's the victim? They asked. My daughter. She's 17, and she didn't just lose a full tuition grant. She was targeted. I didn't cry that night. I tucked Samantha into bed like she was 5 again, kissed her forehead, told her it wasn't over. Then I sat in the quiet kitchen. A cup of coffee I never touched grew cold. I watched the status bar on the university portal just spin in place. We've done everything we could, I whispered to the empty bedroom. But the truth? I wasn't waiting. I was getting ready. The scent of lemon polish still hangs in the air. Samantha, 8 years old, hiding behind her grandmother's couch. Dust motes danced in the sun. She listened to the low, angry voices of her mom and aunt, her small world, trembling on a wire. Years later, a phone call brings that same fear prickling back. Her future, again balanced on someone else's anger. You'd think I'd be used to betrayal, that after watching my daughter's grant get stolen by people we trusted, nothing could surprise me. But damage never breaks the same place twice. The worst crack was still coming. 3 days after I filed the reports, my phone rang. No greeting, just Vivian. Her voice was sharp, steady, pure, controlled rage, the kind you save for a dented car, not for stealing a future. You sent the police to my house. She wasn't shaken. She was furious. You think that's how you handle this, involving strangers? I opened my mouth, closed it. There was no point. Chloe's been crying. You scared Mom. She thought someone had died. I leaned against the counter. A single tile in the corner was cracked, just like this family. I have to go. I hung up. I stood there, holding my phone, waiting for it to make sense again. My parents were there. Samantha was in the next bedroom, refreshing her inbox. The university still hadn't replied. She looked up. What? Nothing. I lied. Get your shoes. We're going to see Grandma and Grandpa. Now. We brought pancakes. Because we were still the kind of people who brought food to a fight. Because Samantha believed they would listen if we were calm. Because I still hoped deep down that our only job was to convince them. That if we just showed them the truth, they'd understand. They'd be shocked. They'd hold her and say, "We didn't know. We're so sorry. God, we were stupid." They greeted us like it was any other morning. Coffee, hugs. My mom commented on Samantha Price's new shoes. My dad asked if we wanted orange juice. We sat at the kitchen table. I pulled out the folder. Before we say anything else, We need you to look at this." They did quietly with too much composure. First the email, then the timestamp, then the security footage of Chloe outside with Samantha Price's phone, the call log, every page in order. Samantha Price sat beside me, hands folded, knuckles white. She looked like she was trying not to breathe too loudly. When my mother finally spoke, she didn't look at me. She looked at Samantha Price. "She's just a child." That's when I knew something was wrong. "She's 17, I said, "and she committed fraud." My father set down the papers. "She made a mistake. Maybe a poor decision. But she's a good kid." I blinked. "You think she did it?" They looked at each other, then back at me. "We thought you might come," my mother said. "We've talked about it. All of us." The words hit like glass breaking. All of us. Vivian. Us. After you told her what you found, I couldn't move. My jaw clenched so hard it clicked. "You knew." "We didn't do anything," my father said quickly. "We just agreed." "Agreed to what?" My mother didn't flinch. That Chloe needed it more. Samantha Price stood up. Her hands were shaking now. "You helped her take it from me?" "No one took anything?" my mother snapped, voice rising for the first time. "It stayed in the family." That's when I stood too. It didn't stay in the family. It was stolen. "She was devastated," my father said. "We knew you'd take it badly, so we didn't say anything. She's not as strong as Samantha Price," my mother added. "We thought Samantha Price would understand." Samantha Price made a small sound like laughter without joy. "So, you just let her lie." "We didn't want this to get ugly," my father said. "You involved the police. What did you think would happen?" "I thought I said that I'd find out who betrayed us." "You already knew," my mother said. I looked at her, really looked, and something inside me shut off like a switch. We left without finishing the pancakes. That night, I blocked their numbers, all of them. No speeches, no text goodbyes. I just hit the button and watched the screen go clean. Samantha Price didn't speak for hours. Then she opened the family group chat, scrolled until she found the last message from my dad. Some meme about family loyalty. She uploaded 4 files. Screenshot of the withdrawal email. Screenshot of the call log. A still frame from the security video, and a short message. Chloe sent the email from my phone. Vivian helped. Our grandparents knew. This is what happened. You can believe it or not. But this is what happened. She didn't wait for a response. We both knew we wouldn't get one. The university still hadn't responded. Samantha Price was called in twice more for follow-up clarification. The start of term was 5 days away. We had nothing. No full tuition grant, no funding, no backup plan. "It's not even about the money anymore," Samantha Price said one night. "It's that they looked at me and decided I didn't deserve it. I didn't know how to respond because she wasn't wrong." 2 days before orientation, I got a message. Private, quiet, from a cousin I hadn't seen since a funeral. I saw what Samantha Price posted. I forwarded it to someone. I hope that's okay. It was more than okay. It was the only thing we had. The next afternoon, we got the call. I'm calling from the Hope Bridge Foundation. We reviewed Samantha Price's story. We'd like to fully sponsor her tuition starting immediately. I didn't cry. Not until I hung up. Not until I saw Samantha Price curled on the couch, arms around her knees. "You're in," I whispered. She looked at me like I'd said it in another language. "We did it." "No," I said. "You did." The next morning, she zipped her bag and stood by the door. "I really thought they broke me," she said. I looked at her, tired, steady, brave. Then look at you now. The investigation didn't drag on. Within weeks, Chloe was formally charged. Computer misuse, identity fraud, academic dishonesty. The university expelled her and revoked the full tuition grant entirely, officially waiting for the outcome before making it final. She was blacklisted from all future scholarships. Her name landed on a list no parent wants to see. And then came the part no one expected. During questioning, Chloe cracked. She told them it had been her mother's idea. Vivian, The mastermind. The woman who once said she'd do anything for her daughter. Apparently, she meant it. Vivian was convicted, too. Community service, a hefty fine, and 1 year of probation. She wept in court, of course. Talked about reputations she chose over truth. Chloe. They assigned her to clean the downtown bus terminal every Saturday. Samantha Price and I saw her once. She didn't look up. We walked right past. Samantha Price's original full tuition grant was never reinstated, but she ended up receiving something better. Now she's there on campus, not hiding, not small. She tutors 2 nights a week, joined the debate team, and already got invited to a summer research program. Sometimes I look at her across the kitchen table and see the flicker of something returning, like a match just beginning to burn. Confidence, joy, power. She still doesn't talk about her grandparents or her aunt. And I don't push. We're no contact fully. I didn't send a final message. I just blocked them all. Sometimes silence is louder. They thought they could rewrite her future. Turns out they just wrote their own ending. You tell me. Did I go too far or not far enough? Comment below and hit subscribe.